I got the chance to see an early screening of Over Your Dead Body, and this movie is insane. It's gory, it's fun, it's actually hilarious, and it wastes zero time. I'm talking you're in the story immediately. So shout out to Bloody Disgusting for the tickets to the advanced screening, but here's the thing. I did not expect to have as much fun as I did. This is one of those horror comedy movies that just gets it. It's fun, it's brutal, and it keeps you entertained the entire time. But it's also not for everyone. So let's talk about what works and whether it's actually worth going to see when it drops on April 24th. So, like I said, I went to see Over Your Dead Body at an early screening, and I pretty much went in blind. And honestly, that's probably the best way to experience this movie. I had no expectations, I had no idea what tone it was going for, and this movie completely surprised me. So let's talk about the pacing, because one thing I noticed and I really appreciated was how fast this thing gets going. There's no long, drawn out setup. There's no 30-minute wait before something actually happens. Like, they get right into the story and pretty much right into the action. It's pretty quick. And to me, that pacing actually felt perfect, especially going in blind and not knowing what to expect. There was never a point where I was checking my watch or waiting for something to happen. They constantly gave you something to actually be engaged with in this movie. But what really caught me off guard was the tone. This movie was actually really funny. Like, I was in the theater laughing the entire time. You know, it's actually funny in a way that feels intentional and well balanced. You know, there are times where the humor hits, but it doesn't take away from the horror aspect, or rather the gore aspect of this film. It actually makes it even more entertaining, if anything. It really has that energy where you're reacting or you're laughing at something hysterically, and then something brutal just happens right there and then. And speaking of brutal, this movie does not hold back on the gore. If you're someone who loves practical effects, over the top kills, and just unapologetic horror violence, then you're gonna have a blast with this movie. There were definitely a lot of moments that got reactions from the crowd, you know, like those oh wow moments that you can actually hear the entire theater reacting at the same time, whether that was to an unexpected gore moment or something that was just hilarious. And honestly, that's the best way to experience a movie like this, is in a theater with a crowd. This movie was actually perfect for that. And the reason that I think it works is because this movie knows exactly what it is. It's not trying to be overly deep or slow or atmospheric. It's here to entertain you, and it does that from start to finish. And I respect that a lot, because these days horror tends to lean into the slow burn territory, if that makes any sense. Now, like I said before, this movie is not going to be for everyone. If you're looking for something super serious, layered, maybe even psychological, then this movie is definitely not for you. But if you're into fast-paced horror that's fun, gory, just an all-out wild ride, then you're gonna have a great time with this movie. And it will definitely be worth checking out. So overall, I had an absolute blast with Over Your Dead Body. It's one of those movies that I would definitely want to watch again, especially with a crowd, just because of how fun that experience actually was. And I think that's something that a lot of movies are actually missing right now. So let me know in the comments, are you planning to watch Over Your Dead Body when it drops in theaters on April 24th? Are you going to wait for streaming? Is horror comedy your thing? Let me know in the comments. I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. And as always, please make sure to hit that subscribe button if you have not already.